And our speaker today is a family friend of ours, and that was the sufficient consent to get here. I'll be introducing grandchildren. Our president's going to introduce
Mike McHale. Mike is the new CEO of Community Care, and they take off former city board member for those things since I.
Oh, no, she's going to say that.
So welcome, Mike. Mike is a two-time Rotarian for other clubs, and his application is in the process right now. So we welcome you, and we know that you're going to keep coming back and stay super involved. Thank you.
My guest today is Ruth Curtis, a longtime family friend. We've been friends for over 30 years. And Ruth is recently retired from a career as an attorney. She practiced with her husband, Rich Irvin, who is one of our new red badge members, and who specializes in Social Security disability benefits. I think it would be wonderful to have another Rotary couple in our club, so I will be sponsoring Ruth on the
I'm very pleased to introduce my brother Bill from Pittsburgh, and we've been watching the Cleveland games. So we're not from New York. And then I have my brother-in-law, and he's here because he has 6 grandchildren in Boulder, but normally he's down in, I shouldn't say normally in Fort Lauderdale, he's here a lot. And I'm for Hotel, but they have to find some people that can sign. And Rob's going to sign for $10. Okay, we got another 10 here. Thank you. John Crow.
Are we without students today? Looks like it. So back to you, Marty.
Thank you very much. And I would love to have a warm, welcoming hand and hooray for Viva Delta in your day. You can say hip hip hooray. On a family note, if you saw in the rip, mentioned about Chauncey Beagle, Chauncey is an honorary, has been an honorary Rotarian, 100 years old. And when I last signed, he wanted to talk about Rotary. He said, "I just think it's so great, and what would your dad say if he knew you were up there?" So Chauncey left us to join his family elsewhere last Saturday. His services are November 4th, and he certainly was a Rotarian to the end. So, you know, as part of the family of Rotary, the day that I was there at Fraser, and I stopped by 3 different places. Chauncey was one, Betty Banks, the other, and Mary Henderson. Both Ken Banks and Stan Henderson have been longtime Rotarians, and Riverhead still remember this club. So it's nice to know that even though we gather every Friday, or most Fridays, it's the best place to be. There are still those that can't, that have fond remembrances of their times and their spouses' times. So at this point, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that if we were in college, we would be taking midterms. Fortunately, we were not. If we were a football player, we would be getting our grades with us. There weren't 2 very fine grades that were given to them. However, in looking at our own report card of where we've been as far this year, I wanted to update on a couple of things. I heard back in March the idea of we'd like to know each other better. We'd like to do some informal things. So when I started looking back in the calendar, I'm going to borrow one of the dates from Bill Meyer's presidency, and that was the Rotary Comes Home dinner. At that point in June, we had 5 dinners, and we had about 40 folks who enjoyed meals in different families' homes in 5 different homes. By July 5th, we were doing grams to calculators. We have 100 volunteer hours of Rotarians and those involved with that. How many of you might have been involved in any phase of backpack stuffing or grams to calculators? That's easy hands. That was a wonderful way to help and support the students with school supplies. Then we go to the end of July and Stan said, you know what, I love the lake, so why don't we have a party at the lake? And so I believe we have a example of the lake
We do.
party. And I think you said maybe about 5 folks came and enjoyed that day. It was fortunately a sunny day, if I remember correctly. And I would imagine if we have some sleep, we might do it again. By August, we had Wine to Water. We had probably another 100 hours of volunteer time, and that's very, very conservative. And many of you enjoyed some time there,
Right here.
wandering around the world and the beautiful pictures. Then we moved into September on the day of pairing, and we do have a little video of that. We had 40 of our folks involved with that. We figured it's about 126 hours of service involved there. So let's go with the day of pairing.
Hold on.
We also received a thank you note, and it reads, finding help in hard places is water in a desert. Thank you for all of your support, the folks at Chase House. And this is signed by a number of folks that I'm most grateful for our time and support. One says, thanks for putting your time and effort into here, of course, to you in our community. Thank you all so much for your efforts today. We are greatly appreciated. And I think just the fact that we all took time that day, many, and I think in my mind, it's a do-over. It was great fun. Those of us that had the opportunity to sort through LPs, it was a trip down memory lane, because everything you held up, it's like, oh, I remember that, oh, I remember that. That was so good. And actually, this was, a number of us worked at the community, the thrift store. And we were given a little chip for $5, so I spent my $5. I bought an album, it was a Golden Buffalo Marching Band, and I met with Matt Roeder, who is the director of that. We were him for coffee this week, and I gave him the album. I said, no, the people here, these were the Hugh McMillan, these were the original folks behind the marching band. Maybe they have the album or not, but I think you'd like to have it for the archive. So that was just a side part. It was fun, and we had a great good time, and I think it achieved the purpose, certainly volunteering, but also helping us to further the idea of different ways that we can make this large club small. That's something that we have talked about over the years, and certainly that's what I think we're doing at this point. Stan is helping out a great deal with tailgating from his report. The first tailgate, which was the first home game here on the 9th of September, there were about, I think he said 35 Rotarians maybe who showed up. And in the intervening week that are taking place, 15 to 20 folks, and some of you have seen each other there and brought others to join in that fun and festivity. The next one up is on goods. That makes it 28th of October. It's homecoming. We don't know the time, but you're going to be still holding forth as best you can. That's very good. Then last Sunday, some of us decided to brave a sunny Sunday afternoon. So Ruth said there was no football. The weather was good, so we brought her back to the dogs. And there were 7 Rotarians and 8 dogs. And I don't have a picture of that because I was too busy either talking to others or calling my dogs to stop bothering other dogs. But it was a good time. It was a different form of camaraderie at the dog park. And I think again, it's probably going to be a duel. Then tomorrow, if you're still inclined to get up and go out and walk with a dog. Nelson Trujillo is one of our doctor Rotarians, and he's doing a program that's called Walk with a Dog. He at the parking lot across from the lake at about, they suggested 7:45 to register. I think the idea that he's generating is just some healthy kind of things and then a walk around the lake. They're going to be doing that throughout the year, and Gina, who was here last week, mentioned that when it gets to income credit, they're trying to see where that walk can occur on campus. This one is not a fundraiser, it's a fitness raiser in my mind. And so that's another way, if you are up in early Saturday morning and think, yeah, I think I'll get out and go walking, come on over and let's go walk around the lake together. Then, of course, we have some happy hours. Those have been the 4th Tuesdays of the month, with varying numbers of folks showing up. Anybody who got there, I think enjoyed it. We actually saw Alessandro, who joined happy hour, and then he's going to be joining us when he moves back into this area. He's in Switzerland right now. That fellow was the member who found us, I think, looking either at our Facebook or webpage. Somehow he found us and showed up for happy hour. And then finally, of course, another way to enjoy getting a little bit more up close and personal with each other would be really good. We do not have to wear a costume. We would prefer some attire of your preference, which could be business or cocktail or whatever suits your fancy. But it's not a clothing optional event. But it's, again, will be a good way to build a friendship, fellowship, and we would encourage many of you to come and invite your friends, families, and assorted others. We'll hear a bit more about that a little bit later. And at this point, I'd like to turn the program to Paul and do the honors and introduce us.
Speaker's presentation.
It is. Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today, Brandon Johnson. I'm going to keep my intro short because the program is going to knock you away. I'm going to read this briefly. Bridges to Prosperity, the organization that envisions a world where poverty caused by rural isolation no longer exists. Their programs provide access to healthcare, education, and markets. They're teaching communities how to build bridges over impassable rivers in partnership with organizations and professionals. Brandon's background, he got his undergraduate degree in civil engineering from Zaga University, GoZag, master's in civil engineering at Oregon State University. And he was working as a civil engineer and bridge design here in Denver. And he has decided he wanted to do something different. So he joined Bridges to Prosperity like 4.5 years ago. Ended up as an intern in Nicaragua. He had to learn Spanish. Became the program manager in Nicaragua. Was the interim program manager in Rwanda. And BTB is now in over 20 countries, has constructed close to 250 footbridges. And Brandon is the program director in all of those countries, the program manager in each of those countries. So he's had a tremendously successful ride, a very, very important organization, and it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce him.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that great introduction, Paul. As he mentioned, I'm with Bridges to Prosperity, and
we build footbridges over dangerous rivers in developing countries. So, see, by a show of hands, who crossed a bridge to get here to this meeting today? I drove up from Denver. Anyone want to take a guess on how many bridges I crossed to get here?
25.
It was actually, I was expecting 25. It was a lot lower than I was expecting. It was 11. Turns out 36 doesn't have a lot of, there's a lot of overpasses. So anyway, I think bridges are something that we take for granted living in the developed world. And it's something that in the developing world, it's just a different obstacle that communities have to face. So what would have happened to you if you had to get to this meeting and there wasn't a bridge there for you to cross? What would you have done? I was actually in San Francisco this week at SoCap convention down there, and the Golden Gate Bridge, take that for example. Imagine that you live on the north side of the bay, and you have to get down to San Francisco, and there's no bridge for you to cross. How would you have to do that? You're gonna go a long ways, right? And now imagine you didn't have a car. And imagine that that's where the grocery store was. And so that's a little bit exaggerated, but the situations that we're dealing with in the areas that we know. So I'd like to share our founder story, how we got started as an organization. Our founder, Ken France, who was a Rotarian out of Virginia, was getting his oil changed. And there happened to be National Geographic magazine there, and he picked it up and we saw this picture. So this picture is in Ethiopia over the Blue Nile River. And what happened is during World War II, Mussolini and his army were invading Ethiopia. And this is actually a Roman bridge, multi-span arch bridge, that the Ethiopian community actually self-destructed. They blew it up themselves to keep Mussolini and the Italians out of their community. And it worked, but now if they wanted to cross the river, this is what they have to do. So could you imagine if this were you, if you want to get across the river, you go find a rope, you go get 4 of your best friends, preferably strong, and you call up the community on the other side of the river, you get 4 of their best strong guys too, you throw the rope across, and you do this, and you hope no one loses their grip. And so Ken got a bunch of his Rotarian friends together back in 2001, and they went down and built a bridge. And you see the little banner on the right there on the bridge? So Rotary's been part of what we've done for since we've started. We were started with the Rotary. Thank you. So as Paul mentioned, what we do as an organization is we try to end the rural poverty caused by isolation. And we do that through building footbridges, working with communities, working with local governments to attack that problem. So why bridges? Aside from the obvious things of trying to get places, it actually increases the effects of healthcare, gets more children in the classroom so that they're not missing school when they can't get across rivers. And there's actually quite a bit of increased commerce that we've seen. And so the World Bank has estimated that 1 out of every 7 people in the world do not have reliable access to essential services. That's 1 billion people. That's a pretty large portion of the world's population. So I'd like to share a little bit more of my story with you. As Paul mentioned, I went to Oregon State University. I was studying civil engineering. This is me working on my research. We're building some pretty big concrete beams, and then we got to break them, which is fun. You don't usually get to do that in the engineering world. Moved out to Denver, got really into Tebow mania, climbing 14ers, really embraced the Colorado lifestyle. And then I was working down in Littleton, actually, for a small engineering firm, and I saw our CEO speak at a conference. And as often happens when you see a year CEO speak at a conference, you find yourself in a developing country shortly after. So I quit my job and moved to Nicaragua as a volunteer, as an intern. And it was supposed to be 3 months. That was it. An open door policy with my boss in Denver. I was supposed to come back after 3 months. So I moved to Nicaragua, and this is what I found. This is a picture that I took shortly after I moved there. And this is normal life. And it's not only in one community, right? This is a problem that we see all over the world. So can you imagine if this is what you had to do to get to the grocery store? What if this is how your kids had to get to school? Or this? So I think this picture really sums up what we're trying to do here, is that if people are willing to go through extreme measures to get to what they need to get to schools, to hospitals, to markets. And so they just need a little bit of help, and I'll get to that a little later. So I want you to picture this now. And there's me doing the same thing in Peru, a little bit. But so I moved down to Nicaragua as a volunteer and worked on a project. And this was in a community called El Dorado, and this is how they got across the river in the dry season. In the rainy season, they were on those cables that I was walking across in the picture. So I worked with our local staff down there, had a little less care at the time, and it was a Rotary project. We actually had a Rotary club out of North Carolina that was sponsoring the project, and they came down and they visited the school. We tried putting them to work. They actually did do some work. So Rotary's been involved, especially with my experience in British prosperity, really from the get-go. And so after about 3 months of construction, building the bridge, this was the final product. And so now the community has access to schools and markets year-round. And so, as I said, I was supposed to be there for 3 months. Obviously, that didn't happen. So I ended up staying in Nicaragua and running our program down there for about 2.5 years, and we kept building bridges. This is another bridge. This is called Las Papayas, and you can see down there, look at that, right here, that's how they used to get across that river. They just laid some logs over this little canyon, and the water in the rainy season would come up over the top of that. So every year they would actually go and take the logs away and store them, and then they were stranded essentially for the rainy season, and then they'd go back and put them there once the water went down. And so this is Don Payo Soriano. He was the landowner on one side of the bridge. On the far side, right, where they needed the bridge to get into town. And he was 100 years old. And he came out to site every single day that we were there, did what he could to work and swing his machete, and he actually built us a storage shed so that our cement wouldn't get wet when it rained. And the pride in his face when the bridge was completed. And he'd been there for 100 years, watching people scurry down the side of that canyon and go across those logs. And so he was so proud of this bridge when we finished it. This is another example of the bridges that we built in Nicaragua. This one is 120 meters long, so that's almost 400 feet. And this bridge actually served a series of communities. There were probably about 10 or 15 communities up the road that would, they'd actually take a bus from their community down to the river, cross the bridge, and then there'd be another bus to take them into town. And again, we had Rotarians come down that year as well. This was also a club out of North Carolina, meeting up with the local club from Esteli, Nicaragua. So one thing that I think maybe sets Bridges to Prosperity apart from a lot of other development organizations is that we really focus on the local empowerment piece of what we do. I think that there's a lot of I've seen some projects in the developing world, especially in Latin America, where you kind of have the gringo project. You have a team of Americans or foreigners that come down and they look around. Let's say they would go into a community and they look and they see there's no potable water here. We're going to build a well. They build a well and then they leave. And what happens is a couple years down the road, something breaks on the well, and the community doesn't know how to fix it. And it's not their responsibility, because that's the gringo well. The gringos will come back and fix the well. And so we really focused on really building that local ownership and local empowerment in the communities. So before we actually break ground on any of our projects, we sign a memorandum of understanding with 3 parts. One part's obviously us, and the second part is the local municipality. So when we think about these types of projects, local infrastructure, that's really the responsibility of the local municipalities anyway. It's in their mandate. And so we actually get them to contribute all of the local materials to the project. So they're buying the cement, sand, gravel to make concrete. They are buying the rebar, the decking, things like that. And so this is on that same project that Las Matthias project. Here's the city council voting to approve the funding for their part of the project. And then we're also a training organization. So we have what we call a bridge builder manual. And the idea behind the manual is that we can give it to anyone with a little bit of training. The manual will take you through everything from developing a community to figuring out the technical aspects of where you're supposed to be looking to put a bridge. There's a few kind of standard calculations to perform. And then there's a catalog of standard construction drawings that you can choose from. And then there's also step-by-step instructions on how to go about making and building the structure. And so this was, again, that same municipality. This is Osmin was the engineer there. We were training him on how to actually do his own designs to sort of work ourselves out of the job. And so the third party on that agreement, on that MOU, is the community. And so especially in Latin America, where there's a culture of communal works. I sort of talked earlier about the development mindset sometimes that some organizations might have in terms of going into communities, seeing what's needed, and doing it, building it. The way that we try to approach this is that, so, I would go into a community in Nicaragua, we'd see that they needed a bridge. They would usually ask the municipality for the bridge, and then we would work with the municipality to go to the community and start developing that relationship. But the dialogue is more, we see that you need a bridge, let us help you build it. So in Nicaragua and in all of our Latin American countries, usually on the project we have 1, maybe 2 Bridge to Prosperity foremen that are there leading the construction, but the rest of the manpower, the labor to build the bridge is all voluntary labor from the community. And so you can see how many people came out, we're at Port and Anchor this day, but how many people came out to volunteer their time from the community to get this bridge built. So it's more like a, let us help you build a bridge for yourselves. And that really drives home the empowerment and the investment that they have in the project. And so just to give you an example of that, I want to share a quick story. This is a bridge called El Pueblito in Nicaragua that we were working on. And you can see the ramps to get up to the walkway. Here's what it looked like. And so we had a team from Flatiron Construction from out here that was down in Nicaragua for us. They were there for 2 weeks. And the idea was that at the end of the 2 weeks, we would finish the project and we would have the inauguration and they would sort of be there for that celebration. And so this is what the ramp looked like the day before the inauguration was scheduled. It's not good. So we got it filled at the top. We had some problem with procurement, you can imagine, in developing countries. So we got the ramp filled with rocks to the top. But that doesn't mean we can really have people walking on it, right? It's just jagged rocks there in the ramp. And we normally put about a 4-inch layer of concrete on top of that so you have a nice surface to walk on. So I got with Harold. Harold was the community leader. He's actually right there. And I went to Harold and I said, hey Harold, here's the situation. Is that the bridge isn't finished. We can't have an inauguration. We can have a celebration tomorrow. We can celebrate, thank the team from Flatiron for coming and helping with the project, but we can't inaugurate it. It's not safe. The other option is we can try to finish the bridge tonight. And this is at 4 o'clock. And in Nicaragua, I don't know if you guys have ever been, it's a Latin America. 4 o'clock is quitting time. So Harold had a working meeting, got with all of his crew there, and they were whispering and talking about it. He comes back to me and says, let's do it. We're going to finish the project. All right, we had about 7 cubic yards of concrete to mix by hand. I don't know if you guys ever mix concrete by hand, but it's not easy. So we started 4 o'clock in the afternoon until the sun's already going down. And we had about 30 community members. We had the 10 people from the Flatiron team. We had our Bridges to Prosperity staff who were on site. And it turned into a party. No one was complaining about working into the night. They were hooping and hollering. I had my truck up there. We were playing salsa music. We had some big barrels of water that we would use to mix concrete. And when the water would empty out of the bucket and we needed to refill it, I would have to drive my truck down to the river to get more water. So whenever the big barrel was empty, the whole community would just start yelling, "Agua, agua, agua! Jackie Chan, go get us more agua!" Jackie Chan. And we finished it. We finished that bridge. We had the inauguration, and there's Harold on his motorcycle crossing the bridge the next day. And so that was all led by Harold and the community. The option was up to them. We didn't have to keep working, but they wanted to finish that bridge for the team and give them that. And so this is the type of work that we do around the world. That's sort of our mentality. And we've worked in 20 countries around the world, but we have 5 active countries currently. This is in Panama. This is Bolivia. We actually just broke ground on our first bridge in Uganda last month. It's really exciting. And then we also have a pretty large program in Rwanda. And also, I don't know if anybody has seen or heard of the Dream Big movie that's playing at all the IMAX theaters right now. But we're featured in that, doing some work in Haiti as well. So check that out. I think it's playing at the Denver Museum of Science. You seen that? It's bridge in that, right? So I talked a little bit about the local investment and the labor and the volunteerism in Nicaragua and all of our Latin American countries. In Africa, they don't have quite that same culture, but we still are able to get that. This is in Rwanda, and I don't know if anyone's familiar, but in Rwanda, they have something called Umuganda. So Umuganda is a national community service day. So the last Saturday of every month, from 8 to noon, every single of 11 million Rwandans, including the president, volunteer their time. Yeah, I think that's something we should probably do here. But this is an Umuganda on one of our bridge sites. I've literally seen projects where we have 2,000 Rwandans carrying rocks. You saw that ramp, right? We weren't going to run out of rock. So we had 2,000 Rwandans carrying rocks from a kilometer away to start the project. It's pretty incredible to see. And then getting back to that education piece, this is Lorien. Lorien works for a trade school in Kigali, the capital of Rwanda, called BRC. And Lorien's our fabricator. So we worked with him to figure out how to do the welding and the cutting for all of our steel towers and cross beams. And now we just hand him a set of plans and he goes and gets them done. So it's, again, using the knowledge and expertise that's available locally in the country. This is probably one of my favorite stories, is that this engineer here, this is Etienne. Etienne was a student at this technical school. And when he was a student, we were doing seminars. We just do a week or 2 seminar, sort of introducing who we were, getting the students sort of excited about engineering. And so he took that seminar. Him and one of his classmates were really excited about the work we were doing. And so we took them on as interns after they graduated. They were interns with us for about a year, and we hired them on as full-time staff. And now, Etienne's been with us for 4 years now, and now he's the one who's doing the seminar. So it's that sort of perpetuation of knowledge that's staying in the country. And again, the Rotary Club in Rwanda has actually been super instrumental in our operations there. When we first opened up our office in Nicaragua, it's probably 2011, the Rotary Club was one of the first entities that we met with. And they really approached it from not necessarily we're going to do a grant, great, but that's not really our main interest. They were more of the thought partner with us. and strategizing. And they made a lot of connections for us that were instrumental. And I think that a lot of our success that we've had in that program in Rwanda is probably attributed to the work that those Rotarians put in helping us get connected when we first started up. So it's this kind of work, this is our approach, you know, with the help of the Rotary Club, we're able to go from situations like this. You know, this is how people are getting across these rivers in Rwanda specifically. This is how children are getting to school. So we go from this situation to this. And we get those students in the classroom, and we can really see change. So I'd like to just leave you with a quick video to wrap this up. Get everyone excited about this.
There were 1,000 miles to come back. We have traveled land and sea. But there's no gas in my big name. There's no place I'd rather be. I will away forever. Exalted in the sea. As long as I am with you, my heart continues to beat. We live a step away, keep up the food away, strong legs of passion. We live for a man to say, give you another day, switch up the passion. You gave me a chance to say yes, switch up in the dawn, but I'll wait.
Video, I hadn't thought of this question, but how do you determine how many people can be on a bridge at once? More importantly, after you answer that question, how do you select where you're going to be building the bridge? I mean, it just seems like it's huge, it's immense. I mean, what's the process that goes into that?
Great questions. One easy to answer, one a little more complicated. In terms of the design loads, we actually use AASHTO standards. So that's what our bridges are designed for here in the U.S. So we use the AASHTO pedestrian bridge loads. Our bridges almost never see those loads. You have to have literally everybody squished as tight as possible. In terms of where we select our sites, there's a couple different ways. Usually we'll work with the municipalities to figure out, one, who wants to work with us. Because we are asking them to put some skin in the game, not every municipality is able to put money in. More and more often, which is great. In Rwanda specifically, we've done a national needs assessment. So we had a Rwandan engineer go out and work with all the levels of government. It's crazy how organized their government is. But he went out and visited 360 bridge sites and took data from them. And so we're actually able to prioritize based on need which districts we should work with and which bridges we should try and go first.
Looking at the initial shot that you showed of the Roman bridge that taken out Ethiopia, is it intentional that these are built as footbridges that would have almost no military value? Somebody can't use it, or is that just the way you do it?
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever given much thought to the military aspect of it.
Yeah.
We're not building bridges in Afghanistan or the Congo or Sudan, things like that. But a lot of it is because we've seen the pictures. How many times did you see a vehicle? And really, the biggest request that we have is for tuk-tuks, for animals. The animals can go across those if you can convince them to. So it's really it's driven by the need, and the need is for pedestrian crossing.
actually saw the IMAX in Denver.
Oh, great.
And it was a feature. It was a feature of women engineers, and I don't know if you know the woman's name who was featured in that production. But it's a very interesting IMAX. It talks about Bridges to Prosperity and 2 other women engineers doing things around the world. So it's really worth seeing. And I think the figure was that you built over 1,000 bridges to date around the world. Is that correct?
We built almost 250 bridges.
Well, they mentioned, I think, 1,000 bridges. And, but it is an IMAX that's worth seeing.
That woman is my boss. Her name is Amy Bang. She's our CEO. Yeah, the question was how do we design the bridges? So I sort of mentioned the bridge builder manual, and so our designs are standardized. So we would have our local staff go out and take a topographic survey, and then we can process that data, and our engineers can crank out a design in about an hour. That's if it's a standardized design. It is not, you know, the terrain has to meet some requirements, criteria for us to have a standard design. But when it's a non-standard design, we can still, there's just a little bit more engineering work that goes into that.
One of the slides that you showed had in English and in Rwanda, and I remember right, the second language was French in Rwanda. So how do you arrange that? And secondly, a very silly question: how do you get them all to wear hard hats?
Yes, how do we get them to wear hard hats?
How do you get them? And how do you get the people to wear them?
Yeah, it's a struggle sometimes, but we manage. On the language, so you're correct in that the second language in Rwanda is French. We've actually moved to English in the last 3 or 4 years. So all the school is taught in English now. So they speak French, English, and Kinyarwanda, which is the local language. I didn't speak French when I was there. My Spanish didn't really help me out very much. And I don't speak Kinyarwanda, which is their local language. But all of our engineers that we have here, I told the story about Etienne. Etienne speaks 7 languages. So I took him wherever I went. He was my translator to the communities. You know, I took him to meet mayors. We really rely on our local engineers a lot. Question?
Did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm a responder here. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for this inspirational presentation about what can be done and about what my organization, my partners in Rotary clubs. And in your honor, we would like to donate 100 doses of polio vaccine to the worldwide eradication family. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're waiting for Stan and everyone to come out. We're going to do a couple of freaky announcements. One being that I forgot one of our newest ways of staying connected and making this group small, and this is a book club. There's a picture of some of them, which I think 10 or 11 of them met on a snowy Monday, and the next meeting after I think in January 5th, one of those times, January 5th. We also on the grid now have something called a marketplace. So if you happen to have tickets for items or you want to sell something, Jerry gave me these 2 to see if some of you, 2 people preferably, might be free this Sunday to use her Artist Series tickets for folks of Belleville. And if you have a free 7:30 time slot this Sunday, come see me. Thank you, Jerry, for the support. And if any of you have things like this, let her know that they read it. You go in the yellow submarine for that. Kim also wants you to pick up your journals. Is that right? Okay, and throw it in the box. So let's go to who with the good people.
Thank you, Mark. It was? Where do I go? Here?
All right.
did you know that we have something that's going to be happening here really soon? On your table, October 27th, Friday night. It's going to be fabulous, wicked good. So we have a lot of donations that we have received, including Van here is showing off a lovely necklace, and there's also a bracelet. That'll be one of the items that you can be purchasing. It is gorgeous. It's just really Thank you for the sound effects. Nicely done. So please put it on your calendar. We would love to have you there. If for some reason all the information is on this card, you can be buy tickets online. Otherwise, talk to Tony, who's way back there. And then otherwise, if you can't, then consider donating some funds because this is our big fundraiser here. And that one community service announcement, and I'll turn it over to Stan to kind of chip in on it too. Nancy Chin Wagner has some folks who have promised to be donating some goods for a basket. And so the community service announcement is Nancy said she can drop it off by her office anytime next week between 9 and 5. Donations are at Waddell and Reed, drop it off her office there, 1200 18th Street, Suite 200. That's at 28th Street in Colorado. So, is Nancy, are you still around now? She was here earlier, but that's enough. I'm going to Stan. You can tell about our bull.
Well, it's actually, we're just checking. It's Bruce the Steer, not Bruce the Bull. I was a farm kid, and I know the difference between the bull and the steer. If you don't know the difference, you have to come up to me.
He also has, in the past, hosted straw and hay, so never make that.
So this is a cooler, and it has a drain, which is anatomically correct, or either a steer or a bull. It doesn't have the parts for the bull. And you can explain it to your daughters later. Oh, your question, big question. We have about 75 people who have signed up to come. So would you show your spot? And we doubled from last week. Now, let's embarrass all those who haven't signed up. Who plans on going? So that would be like very common pronouns. That haven't signed up yet, but plan on signing up in the next week or so. There you go. Now, keep your hands up. I saw those hands. Okay. We're going to do that. Yeah, Tony, get on it, will you? Go to the site, and it's site, and then right. And you can go there from the grid to sign up and do that. Wicked Good Tickets.com. It's on the postcard. So figure it out.
There's also, I believe that we've arranged that, thank you very much, Mark. We're going to have 4 different ads in daily camera starting this coming Sunday. So keep your eyes open for that. It's going to be this Sunday and then a few other days, 18th, 20th, 22nd. So anyway, bring your friends and get the word out. Help us spread the word, having to do with our club and Rotary in the community, and have a great time. So
I ran it past my wife. We always kind of do the costume party thing, which is kind of fun, but you don't have to do the costume thing. One of my costumes was coming as Michael Phelps, but it had been voted on by the women in the club to not dress up against you. So you do not have to dress up in a costume. You can come, not necessarily as you are, but whatever, however you want to.
I do.
Thank you very much, and we will be showing you in the future just exactly where these dollars go. I think that's an important piece, and that will be another one of our quarterly reports. We have to wait till funds together, but okay. Let's go PowerPoint thing.
wrong one? No, it's September 29th. It's the wrong one. Hold on.
That's the one we have in file.
Yeah, the technology's got it.
On the step?
No, it's in
Stall,
Dropbox.
stall.
Stall, do something. It's in Dropbox. It's not in there, it's on Dropbox.
Can you
We're going to have a little interlude of non-recorded music. Charlotte has a real quick announcement while folks are giving. Either we're going to repeat last week's seat to remember or we need this week. So Charlotte, here we go, how those stand.
Hold on. Go.
Yeah, so Martin and I have been talking over the last few weeks about organizing all the community projects so that we have an online searchable database that will be searchable by either the committee or a certain area of focus, be it education, water, health, etc., and also whether it's something national or international. So right now, I'm just working with Martin on building this. We're hoping to send out an email to all the chairs of the committees with a standardized form that you fill in with details of all the current projects that are going on in grocery right now. And then it will be available online as a searchable database so that people are interested in looking at what different committees are working on and how maybe you can partner across different committees for different initiatives that are coming out and see what's already been done in the past. So there'll be issues asking what your partners are that you're working with and who's the point of contact on each of the projects. So thank you. And I welcome any feedback and any information you'd like to see in the next week, though. Thank you.
Hold on.
3 seconds. 13. Right there. Okay.
We have power out here.
Nope.
No, well, I'll just tell you that next Friday,
Take 52. Yes, and welcome to the Rotary Club PowerPoint.
The Board Maintenance Committee has announced a new event, Peaceful Schools Program at Sanchez Elementary School. The Boulder Rotary Club will be meeting with a group of young first graders on Wednesday, October 18th, and again on October 25th from 3 to 4 p.m. No experience necessary, just come and enjoy the kids. If you'd like to participate, please contact Danny Lindell.
And the membership committee and Mr. Rogers want to remind you that they're requesting all club members to participate in the first Friday Friend Focus on Fridays and bring a friend who is a good prospect for membership. The first visit can be charged to the club.
The Birthday Table Scholarship Fund, not just to share wisdom and anniversary of your birth. The Boulder Rotary Club is a paid tradition that a member can donate your age plus $1 to our scholarship fund. What better way to celebrate your own birthday than to make a lasting gift to scholarships?
And next week's program on October 20th.
Visionary Learning Experience enables girls to design new and improved solutions to problems they see and become leaders in their own lives and communities. Boulder Rotary Club New Generations Marita Americans will tell us about the program next week.
Attention, all crew personnel. We are this close to eradicating polio.
World Polio Day is October 24th, and we are this close. Daryl, is that your hair?
Hey. The District 5450 Family of Rotary presents
Ladies in the City, October 29th in Thornton. Corn mazes, petting zoo, and pumpkins available all day. Family of Rotary will be at the pumpkin tent from 10:30 to 12:30. Go to Ladies in the City for details.
Sally, does Chad Stan need to see a dentist or what?
Wait, everyone is stopping. He's going to say something.
I'm not tired. I just need to get to Wicked Good, have a great time, and support my beloved Boulder Rotary.
I'll look forward to make it good.
This has been the Boulder Rotary Club PowerPoint for October 13th, 2017, and hey, let's all have a great weekend.
Thank you, Darryl and Sally. We so appreciate all your activity. Second thing we should do. I was given a little brown box. This was years ago. There was a Blackmore furniture store in Boulder. And I think maybe as graduating seniors, we were given these boxes. And over the years, I knew I had things in here. I had to go to Cindy Angel's lockbox place to get it unlocked because I lost the key. But in my box, I have a couple of special letters. One is from Chancey Eagle's wife, Jane, after their daughter Barbara died. And Barbara unfortunately took her own life, as did her son. And I asked Chancey, could I let you all know about this? And he said, yes, it was okay. But that's a treasured letter from his wife. And he said to me, when I get to heaven, I'll say a little Barbara for you. And I got it. Another letter in here, and this is my reason for, this is my father's excuse for why I'm not here next week. Years ago, I was a Navy teacher in California, and I was ready to quit. They were not listening, nothing was working, and it was just like, so I wrote home, and I'm quitting. I found my father's letter, basically saying to me, maybe you can win 2 or 3 minutes out of each last period. Anyway, that's a start. Don't take no for an answer, go get them. I am gonna go get them next week. I've been invited to their high school reunion. So I'm gonna have to have lunch on Laguna Beach next week. So I will think of you, and Darwin will be presiding. The following week, we know that we are not gonna be here, and we should all be someplace. Where that might be the 27th. If you better believe it. So have a wonderful weekend, and we're adjourned.
That was like a complicated.